Hello, lovely people. Welcome to my podcast, The Journey of a Girl in Her 20s. I'm your host, Assumpta, part-time fashion icon, full-time girl in progress.
Even now, you're coming up to me, fire lighting up the sky. Feel the ground shaking underneath, trying to take me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Assumpta here again. And I know I'll be edging you with my content. Going and coming. Hey, it's tough out here. Anyways, today on my episode, it's no longer about my experiences. We're going to tackle a very broad topic, which I know will get most of you all talking, especially men. Feminism.
The word feminism was coined in the 19th century by French philosopher and socialist Charles Fourier. But while feminists all seek equality between the sexes across political, social, and cultural spheres, there is no one type of feminism.
So recently I got the opportunity, because I've always been a feminist, but not in the deep dive, keep myself informed and all that. And recently I made a video on TikTok, is there a formula to bag that ring for a person who wants to get married? Is there a way you should have worn that ring and secure your man and they get married? And what triggered this backstory is Narindi in Muri Salon de Coiffure, and then this conversation emerged, and this woman was talking about how she wants her boyfriend to propose, but she's not sure this man is going to ever propose. So game plan was, I'll take care of this man, and then, he will eventually see the life he could be missing out with me. And this is exactly what I was thinking. Would he actually want to propose to you just because you took care of him? And the comments were something, because it's a broad topic, and obviously everybody has something to say. And there is a guy that commented. I'm assuming it's a guy from the way he speaks. I'm sorry. It's very sexist, but I am assuming it's a guy. And he said, if a guy is quick to want to sleep with you, he will not likely propose. He most likely not going to propose. And men have a type they marry. Carry yourself like a lady. First of all, carry yourself like a lady. We have heard this word. Personally growing up, hey, carry yourself like a lady, talk like a lady. What is even that? Do I have to talk slower? Do I have to be, composed? Do I have to wear a certain type of way? Because apparently carrying yourself like a lady is exposing little skin, being decent, having manners being you don't speak up when not addressed. So there is different thresholds of carrying yourself like a lady. And he proceeds to say, hold up. There are certain traits a settling man looks out for. A man who will treat you good is a gentleman, right? We can deconstruct that, but I'll come back to that. And a gentleman goes hand in hand with a lady. I'm not implying submission and all. So first of all, when a person says carry yourself as a lady, submitting to your man, because the Bible, the cultures, everything teaches women to submit to men. If a man is there, if you love your man, he's the ruler of the relationship, you have to submit. But to me, carrying myself like a lady means I have my opinion, and the way I put them across is what depicts me as a lady. Now, I'm not gonna scream at you unless I need to. Because evidently I get mad, but I'm not gonna scream at you to get my point. If I have an opinion, we will have a civil conversation about that opinion. And to me, that's carrying myself as a lady. But that doesn't mean I would change who I am just so you can like me. And maybe the men will tell us what carrying ourselves as a lady is, but not that we want to comply to that. And there is so many cultural norms that put men at an advantage and women at a very submissive part. First of all, even the fact that we're having this conversation, the fact that a man needs to propose to a woman for her to get married to the man, when they're both getting married, anybody can propose Anyways, anybody can propose, and that's okay. And we have seen relationships where women have proposed, and the men were like, for example, my show, like my go-to show, which is Friends, the girl Monica proposes to Chandler, because like coming from like a background where I grew up in a very Christian household, and mind you, like I lost my dad at a young age, so I can't even say that I was raised by a single mother, because no, she did not really participate in my growing up, because I was raised in boarding schools, raised by nuns mostly, like so hopping from boarding school to boarding school, I have experienced different cultures, different beliefs, but the core one for me was Christianity, because that's what we were all like guided towards to. But like as the generation evolves, culture changes. And we will realize, let me give you an example. Culture has always put men at an advantage. In the aspect of like women are chosen by men. If they want to marry, a man will have a choice in who they want to marry, but the woman will not have that choice at all. If the man has been chosen, like if the man has chosen the woman, then yes, the woman will go to the man with no opinion whatsoever from her. And like giving you an example, in Somalia, earlier March in 2025, this year actually, they established a law of like men should marry women at least when they're 18. 18 is still a teenager. But the men, like they boycotted that law within 24 hours and it was reversed, claiming it does not comply to their, Christianity, whatever beliefs and cultural beliefs. And like we cannot leave the fact that Christianity and religion oppresses women. So in this aspect, I think we should disregard the cultural part that thinks women should be a certain way.
In one voice, the world declared, human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
Anyways, proceeding, like feminism is a movement of human rights. It's an aspect of human rights. When we say, like, for example, when you say Black Lives Matter, you will think of like black people that were oppressed during whatever that word is, during colonialism. And like you will think of all the unjust, the whipping, the public executions. You will think of all that. But I would like to say that women experienced colonialism and also racism in a different way. Because then there was racism, there was also women oppression, which women were facing both at the same time. For example, if like we're talking about, like men would go to fields, harvest, or even like, do the tough jobs. And if they didn't, they were publicly executed, mutilated, or any embarrassing thing that dehumanizes you. Women experience the same thing, but to a whole other level. For example, at the time, women were supposed to give birth to more kids so that the generation of like black people keeps on going. So people, like the colonizers, have more people to work in their fields. So women were expected to give birth. But mind you, at the time, they did not have the technology to have proper birth and all. And they were like susceptible to like different injuries that come at birth. But at the time, women were not considered, like black women were not considered as human, so they did not experience pain because, well, they are black. So coming back to that, in this generation and in this like life we're in now, since we're not going to experience racism or different injustice, this is where women now want to claim their power. Want to be like, if a man is not paying for this certain type of date for me, I'm not dating this man. And men will be like, oh, women have raised their standard, especially Rwandan men. Be like, women, I saw a video just a few days ago, a Rwandan man saying that women have raised their standards, no, it wasn't a Rwandan man, my bad, Rwandan man. This man was saying that The reason why women no longer go on fancy or dates whatsoever is because we have raised the standard of what men should do for us. Perhaps we have said that an ice cream date is not a date. And that's on period. Because no, it's not a date. You have invested nothing. And the value that comes with being a woman should not be downgraded to just an ice cream date. If you really, really want to establish a family, if you want to have a woman in your life and you want to continue whatever, give birth, have kids, and you really respect the woman that you're doing, like you're going on a date with, an ice cream date? Really, guys? Feminism is not about women dominating male fields. It's about women having choices. If I choose to date because of material, let me be. If you don't have any gold, why are you calling me a gold digger?
Then don't come back and complain about it because you're single.
We can complain.
Assume the
No,
same
listen.
man.
We can complain because these broke men are still gonna hit on you. When you have made it clear that you do not engage with.
Then you need a logo saying, "Don't date me if you're broke."
So I'm starting a club. Don't date me if you're broke. So on that thingy of carrying yourself as a lady does not work completely, because you will carry yourself as a lady. He will find the most unladylike woman to marry. And you will be sat there thinking, but I was such a lady this whole time. Anyways, there's another comment from the same person. When a man meets you, he already knows whether he wants to settle down with you, whether he just wants something to be smashing. Anyways, this I couldn't agree more. When you meet a person, it doesn't have to be a man or a woman. They know if you're the one for them. It's never about uko witwaye. It's never about. We have seen movies where men picked the most. No, this is, why are you picking this woman? She is, quote unquote, what the society would frown upon. But they will still want this woman. They will pursue them. They will put everything on the line for this woman. This reminds me, there was a time a guy had a crush on me, but well, it didn't work out. And then later in the age, he tells me, I would have done anything. I would have put anything on the line for you. And that line was interesting to me, because like, what do you mean exactly? What does that even mean? Exactly. I should ask him, and I will. Anyways, this is a girl. Marriage isn't a reward for performing wife material duties, which is clocking. Many women believe that if they embody certain traits, cooking, nurturing, submission, it guarantees commitment. But the reality is, no amount of effort can make somebody ready to choose you. When a man truly wants to commit, he will, without needing persuasion or performance. Some people need to actually get it in their minds. This comment is what it is. Bref, to wrap it up, there's no formula, guys. There's no formula to dating. There's no formula to... Actually, as an example for me, like if we're talking about like dating your types, my type is the type of person that would take me out on a random Tuesday, very spontaneous. Call me, it's like, grab a cab, let's go out. Put on your favorite, because I like dressing up. Put on your favorite dress, let's go out. And he pays for all of that, and I don't have to worry about that. But if we're talking about the person that I fell in love with, opposite. Okay? And it's like a very perfect example of what happens when you choose something you're not supposed to choose, or something like when you decide to lower your standards, when you decide to ignore things in a relationship just because you love this person. Have a whole constant fighting of like, you don't do this for me, you don't do this for me, I want you to do this for me. Because if I'm telling you, the whole time I was in that relationship, the whole time it was a fight of, why don't you ever take me on a date? Why don't you ever do this for me? Why don't you ever? But mind you, I really, really liked this person. If I might even say loved this person. But had unfulfillment, numvaga, even in the relationship. like that made us grow distant every time we had a fight about that. So if you are about to settle for something because you love a person, you have to know that it comes with like navuga kakusubiza inyuma gakeya, because you're always going to complain about that one thing that you actually crave for. For me, the perfect relationship is someone I can actually have fun with. We can talk about everything and nothing. We can have joking moments. We can have crying moments together. And that doesn't shake anything fundamentally. And there is like the way, like harumonondi way at the core. I'm a very sensitive person, and like I express myself. Niba ikintu kimbabaje, I will tell you exactly how I feel. But again, that sets me back from listening to the other person. Because when I'm emotional, it is really heightened. So like, kumva undi muntu nubwo n'abandi mu makosa birangora. So which means he got me to that level. Like even when I was arguing with him, like we yabaga afite ikibazo and I'm like in that mode of like I will not listen to you, he knew how to handle that situation. Which is like why I consistently kept going back, even though I should have like. There's a lot to be said on the topic of feminism, but like bottom line is, feminism is a movement for human rights. And when we say feminism, it does not mean women are equal to men. It only means men have like an advantage to how they tackle this world. And for that to be equal for women, there's like certain hari ibintu bigomba kwigomwa on the side of men for women to be on the same level as they are. It does not mean like you paying the date means I can't pay the date. I can. It's just appreciation. Yeah? Because the struggles of men and the struggles of women are two different things. Isn't there a pastor kuri TikTok wavuze ngo if you're a woman of God and you get mad on your periods, it means you're not a peaceful person. No man in this world knows period cramps. So you cannot ever say that she's not a peaceful person because she's acting a certain way. Would you act the same way you act when you're actually feeling healthy? It's two different things. So we go through things, and I'm not victimizing women at all. I'm just saying the struggles are not the same. Thank you very much. Next topic.
Fam, Kanye West just dropped a betrayal list.
There's like a trend that has been going on for like a month now, where Kanye displayed his betrayal list and like everybody else, displayed their betrayal list. But like, if I had to sample up all my betrayal list, what it would be like addiction. Bro, addiction is like something. Not in an African community. Nobody even acknowledges that you're addicted, or for yourself to acknowledge that you're addicted. First of all, there was like a story about me betting, and God knows what happened to my money. I was just a child. Anyways, like I got addicted to betting for like a full year. I remember putting all my money and like kukadeja. And then in the game yo gukina nari nzi, like I only knew ukuntu bakina kadege gusa. You wouldn't tell me gukina virtual, you wouldn't tell me competing ku makipe. I don't know how to do that. Akadege. And by introducing ijoro rimwe, that night is the same night I faced my doom. My salary, ndabyibuka igihe umuntu yarandimo 25k, aranyishyuye ndavuga let me double this money. I thought I was cooking. And I was broke at the time. My whole 25k nyashiraho barayatwara. For a full year of like betting and losing and betting and losing, we got there. That's one of my addictions. Second addiction was a fucking relationship. I'm sorry for cursing, but like, I've suffered. Anyways, I could even say it's the same way I interacted with betting, because the same way I kept going to bet and being like, maybe this time is the time it works. Maybe this time is the time I get the money. No, each time I went back, I got, this is not something you should be doing. Alcohol. If you're watching this and you're from home, I don't drink, I sip. But like alcohol, the first time I took alcohol was, well, I grew up in a family of like, we're religious, so like I don't remember exactly when I first took a sip of alcohol, because I don't know who needs to hear this, but like if you grew up in a Christian, especially a Catholic, you have sipped alcohol way before you needed to. But like the first time I initially took alcohol and like I was a grown up allowed to take alcohol and like, got drunk. It was I don't remember exactly the year. This sounds like it was so far away back. But like that time I took alcohol quite I sneak in there. First of all, like hostel ichigo. And then we weren't allowed to have alcohol in. I remember I'm the one that sneaked the alcohol. I was wearing a big shirt because I like to wear oversized clothes. And obviously I was security. So then she's here on the side of the pants. We take shots. I remember someone was recording, and the last word I said, like, if I still remember the night, the last word I say is, I shouldn't take this shot. And then Dayung. What happened after that is I blacked out. I woke up with a broken lip, apparently hit my lip on the table. Fighting, can't even say why I was fighting. But like, I'm easily triggered, and that is heightened when I'm like drunk. Apparently that's an issue with psychological whatever. But like I'm like very quick to respond. So like if I'm blacked out, I will for sure respond. And that's the first time I like, consumed alcohol. From then on, I had episodes of like, I will not drink again, and I drink again. And I can't even say it's an addiction at this point. I've made peace with it. It's not an addiction, because like, I know when to stop. I feel like this is a meme. I know when to stop. Because I drink when I'm with my friends. So I feel like the topic of addiction has not been like properly tackled. And especially in a generation where we're facing so many issues, so many expectations from like the society, your parents, nichi. It's so easy to indulge in activities that feel like they are hyping your dopamine, but those are low-key addictions. And so if you feel like, at some point you feel like you can't stop to do something, but it's easier to like sit down and like face your fears. Like face yourself. Instead of no, I don't have an issue, I can obviously stop when I want. No, it's okay. Sometimes sit down, accept who you are. And like eventually the first time of like to heal is acknowledging that you're sick. Anyways, to wrap up, I have like very many controversial thoughts, very many reasons why I am the way I am. And maybe one day I will give you a story time of what my relationship was, because I keep mentioning it and some people still think I'm not healed. I still think there is like a part of me that's not healed. Maybe. And but one thing for sure is we meet people, we lose people, we become different people, people trigger us, we trigger people. There's like, there's no formula to how we deal with this life. There's like, we're meant to fuck up. Somebody said there's no script on how to operate life. You're meant to fuck up. And so whatever fuck ups, acknowledge them. And tell me what you like about this podcast, because like sometimes I have problems coming back here because I'm just thinking, who cares about your opinion? But I know some people out there really actually care about my opinion. And I love you guys. I just said I love you on a first date. Anyways, this wasn't a date. Bye!